The Declaration of War, one of Attack on Titan's most important events, the political ramifications of which would cause one of the most destructive events in human history. But what were the events which led up to it? What caused Marley and the entire world to declare war on such a small island? And as well, what were the consequences on both a small and large scale? This is the butterfly effect of the Declaration of War. Leading up to the Declaration of War itself, Marley's military wants to take advantage of a noble family who has been around for ages, the home of the Warhammer Titan, the Tyburs. To understand the importance of the Tyburs, we have to go back to their origins. Being around for ages and known as a key figure in the war against King Fritz, formerly being a family sided with King Fritz, they eventually would turn on him. This would be before the Great Titan War, but would be a catalyst for the start of it. During the time before the war, the Tybur family would eventually take hold of a key Titan, the aptly named Warhammer Titan. This would be an essential and key moment in the war to drive the tides over to Marley, who now gained possession at this point of the Jaw, Colossal, Female, Beast, and Cart Titan. Marley would eventually win due to the defection of the Tybur family, gaining them their freedom on the world stage and their ascension to the world's key leader. Due to this, the Tyburs would earn themselves a role as honorary Marleyans, and would from this point become a silent figure as they wove themselves into the fabric of society, gaining even more political importance as time would go on, as they were the true leaders of Marley. Not even intervening themselves in conflict with the Warhammer Titan, causing the family to gain a kind of mystique around them for those who knew. They were even so keen on secrecy that to this day, nobody knows the identity of many of the Warhammer Titans outside of Lara Tybur. This though leads us to an important political event, another extremely detrimental footnote into the eventual declaration of war, the war in the Middle East. As time went on, the advancement of weapons would start to show a major weakness in Marley's armor. Their weaponized Titans and Titan shifters simply were becoming more and more obsolete as the world would gain a foothold in the advancement of technology. Suddenly, the Middle East had ships which could shred through Titans, namely the Armor Titan, an infamous and important figure that seemed to constantly loom in battle. The world at one point was dominated by Titans, but in the modern age, Titans started to slip in their dominance because of weapons that rendered many of their advantages useless in combat. Despite this fact, Marley realizes just that and must hurry to eliminate their enemy, the last chess piece before true world domination and their ultimate plan, Paradis Island. Now holding many key Titans with the attack Colossal, Female, and the ever-important Founding Titan, they needed to be dealt with before their enemies could advance any further and make weapons which would put them ahead of Marley's Titans and military. Not only that, but they couldn't risk Paradis activating the rumbling, something that they know they cannot stop, even for many decades to come. This leads us to the days before the Declaration of War. Commander Magath of the Marley military and Zeke Yaga reach out with Willy Tybur to the current head of the Tybur family to come to some sort of new agreement. They want to use the Warhammer Titan in the upcoming War of Paradis to even the odds after the loss of the Colossal and Female Titans. Then, the two heads, Magath and Willy Tybur, meet in private. There, Magath laments Marley's hollowed spirit as it leads the country into a destructive and reductive cycle of war which is killing it from the inside. Going to war with Paradis, implementing conscription, and their obsession with dominance has led to Magath deciding this meeting. And in a bombshell, Willy then reveals that the true leaders of Marley aren't the government, but Willy Tybur, and more specifically, the Tybur family itself. As for generations, they have been the leaders that have allowed the government to act as it pleases, as atonement for their ancestors' actions in the Great Titan War of many generations ago. So, Willy Tybur decides that he will reveal the truth, not just only about Marley, but also the Tybur family. This leads us to the day of what would become the country's most pivotal moment. Willy goes with Commander Magath to discuss their plan. Willy is now feeling the pressure of leading an entire country, something he seemingly never wanted to do. And while they are making plans to protect everyone during the event, they simply cannot do so, expecting the worst to occur. Though while Willy laments these facts, Magath believes that he must be on stage to ultimately present, as his words and presence are key. But they now are able to use this event to their advantage, as whoever is taken out in the crossfire, they can simply replace them with their own key people to lead the country. Though Willy points out something important. Why is Magath suddenly worried about civilians now, as throughout the years he has sent them to their death countless times and ruthlessly? But Magath retorts. He tells him that it's important the Eldians become the victims of a lie throughout the ages, that he has to make the people believe the Eldians were a victim, that he become the martyr for war, for a greater cause. And so begins Willy's play, telling the truth behind the origins of the character Helos and the lies and brainwashing that were fed from the government to their people. Though, more importantly, how they came to this position. The true history behind the Great Titan War, how King Fritz ruled using the Titans, how the Tyburs defected, becoming the true rulers of Marley, and the creation of lies, which would be fed to them as gospel, all the while they submissively let Marley do as they pleased. The truth is simple. It wasn't Marley who saved the world. It was King Fritz who became a pacifist by aligning with the Tyburs to create a piece of fiction which would fool the world. The truth is King Fritz wanted a world with peace, even if it was only brief. So he used the Wall Titans to threaten the world to not invade Paradis and would create the vow-renouncing war, which all founding Titans related to the Fritz bloodline would succumb to. This vow would assure the submissiveness in any potential war, allowing their attackers to destroy them if they wished. This would lead to the revelation of the true enemy of the world. A man has taken the founding Titan from the Fritz bloodline, broke the vow to renounce war, and plans to wage a war for their freedom. And that man is Eren Yeager. He plans to use the Wall Titans of Paradis to stomp out his enemies in the world, including the countless innocents in Marley. If this happens, not even the world's collected alliance could stop him. So the only option left is the only option Eren has afforded them. A new Great Titan War. And so Willy Tybur declares a war for Paradis, moments later, leading to his death at the hands of none other than the Attack Titan. The declaration of war is a pivotal moment in the history of Attack on Titan for the butterfly effects it would cause on the world at large. Willy Tybur had no other options than to give in to Eren's wish for war, which, as Eren told Reiner to his face, he doesn't care about his family, he doesn't care about the innocent people, and he sure as hell doesn't care what he has to do. He is going to get his revenge and eliminate all of his enemies. Eren felt justified in the near omnicide of humanity, and this would fuel one of the most important wars in history. The War for Paradis, as it was a race against the clock to stop Eren from essentially interacting with Zeke and activating the rumbling. But as well, this justified Marley in war, as Willy simply had no choice. It was lay down or fight. This is because both sides are the same. They both felt they had no choice in the matter. This proves once more that while all sides are justified in their battle, they both came to the same conclusions that humanity has for so long: the total domination of their enemy. This is no different from the days of King Fritz using Ymir to create the Titans. This is no different from the Great Titan War or the war in the Middle East. They're carrying out the very same cycle of hatred and war that their ancestors had before them, hoping that by eliminating their enemies, they will solve their problems. But it never ends, as humanity will keep fighting until there is only one person left. And then what? Who wins when the point of existence is eliminated entirely? Who wants to eliminate their enemies the most? And that the government will brand their enemies through prejudice, racism, and hate to justify their own hatred and need for war. But who is the enemy when both sides are the same? And that is the butterfly effect of the declaration of war? But you tell me. What was the butterfly effect of the declaration of war? Does it blur the lines or add clarity? Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, consider becoming a patron to gain access to exclusive videos on One Piece 3 weeks before everybody else does. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.